candidates. We've heard a lot of different issues tonight, a lot of different policy nuances. What is the one thing that sets you apart and should cause the audience to vote for you in September?
I'm not a politician, and I haven't been here before. I'm a fresh face. I'm an average American. I'm a working class man. I have a wife, 3 children, a house that I'm supporting. I drive an hour and a half each way to a job that I hate. I believe our government's broken, and I think that the way to fix it is to hire, not for life, people like me, like you, like us, to go to Washington and represent us, people who understand the challenges and the problems of real life and that know how to solve the real problems of real life. And I believe that's what sets me apart. My strong stand on the Second Amendment, my experience as an Air Force air traffic controller make me a great problem solver. A software engineer shows that I can handle complex duties time and time again, day in and day out, even when it's boring. And I guess it's as simple as that.
Thank you, Wes. Charlie, you have 1 minute.
Experience, knowledge, new ideas. Having been out in the private sector for 4 years, working in industries, serving on boards, trying to solve problems for businesses, and thinking about how America could be better. I think when you combine those issues and a passion for America and a real concern that I have that this country will not be here for my son Jonathan and my daughter Lucy if we don't change Washington. We need to elect somebody to Congress who can change Washington now, and I believe I bring those qualities to the table.
Thank you, Charlie. Bob, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. I think ultimately the future of the country depends on the people seated in front of us here at the table and millions of others like us. It's about leadership, ladies and gentlemen. Leadership means standing up and doing the tough things when everyone else would do otherwise. It means about standing up and challenging John Boehner when the House decides to pass on the rules of procedure which have brought us to the terrible mess we're in because of the way power is distributed and retained within the various positions in the Congress. Leadership is about taking Marines into dark and dangerous places, people of very diverse backgrounds, and accomplishing a mission. Leadership is about, in your second term, being recognized to stand forth as a deputy majority leader of a 400-member House because you have skill sets that are desperately needed in Washington today to overcome the class warfare and the division and to build consensus that the problems and the principles of America, the principles must prevail and can be used to solve the problems if we work together but stand firm on our principles. It's about leadership, and we need it now more than ever.
Thank you, Bob. Jennifer, you have 1 minute.
We need real people in Congress. We have got to put an end to the reign of career politicians and Washington insiders once and for all. We need the real-world experience that we've all had running businesses, raising families, being involved in our community, and taking that mentality to Washington, understanding that you cannot spend more than you have and you cannot borrow your way out of debt. It's not enough to support a balanced budget, to say, I supported a balanced budget, I supported term limits. You've got to fight for it every single day, whether you're there 2 years or 12 years. We need people in Washington who are going to stand on principle, stand up to party leadership, stand up to the special interests, stand up to the lobbyists, and fight for what's right every single day that they're there. That's what we do in our own lives at home. That's what we do in our communities. And that's what we need in Washington.
Thank you, Jennifer. That concludes the question and answer portion of tonight's session. We will now go into closing statements. We'll go in reverse order of the opening statements. So, Jennifer, you will have 2 minutes for your closing statement.
Thank you, Chris. The next Congress is going to confront some critically important issues. Spending, earmarks, drilling, cap and trade. Congressman Bass has been on the wrong side of the line on every single one of these issues. We need people in Washington who are going to stand for what's right, and we are going into this election with a serious credibility problem. The last Republican majority spent too much, grew government too much. They became corrupt, arrogant, disconnected from the people. And in 2006, they were fired with cause. If we are going to earn back the votes and the trust of our neighbors across the district, we have got to offer something different. People are not just angry at Democrats and suddenly in love with Republicans. They are angry at Washington. They are angry at politicians. They are angry at Congress. They are looking for new leadership and new voices. They are looking for a renewed dedication to the founding principles of our nation. And we cannot afford to have Ann McLean Custer, lifetime lobbyist, look like the fresh new voice in New Hampshire politics. We need to stop the spending. We have got to have a government that functions within its constitutional limitations. We have got to have a Congress that works for the people again. That means people in Washington who are committed to fighting every single day for the reforms that will make Congress work for the people. A balanced budget amendment, constitutionally sound line item veto, elimination of earmarks, end of congressional pensions, and we must have term limits. We have got to put an end to the reign of Washington insiders and career politicians once and for all. We can have strong, principled, fiscally conservative leadership in Washington representing the voice, being a voice for the people of New Hampshire. I want to preserve the America for my children that my parents and my grandparents worked so hard to preserve for me. That's why I'm running for United States Congress. My name is Jennifer Horn. I am running for Congress, and I'm here tonight to ask for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Bob, you have 2 minutes.
2 weeks before I graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy, my mother was killed in a car accident, leaving me the oldest of four brothers. At the age of 23, I learned very quickly how to deal with significant crises. And the answer that we found rested in our family, in our friends, and in our local community. I got the guardianship of my 9-year-old brother, who today is a productive citizen. What I learned there was that it isn't government that's the answer. It's that each and every one of us is a citizen, each and every one of us is a mom or as a dad or as a sibling has a part of the solution to this problem that faces America, this leadership issue. As a Marine, I was privileged to work with young men and women and to accomplish extraordinary feats because they were extraordinary. But the leadership component also plays a part in that. Folks, if we don't change the rules, if we don't send people to Washington willing to battle to change how business is done, it doesn't matter who we send there. The rules of procedure of the U.S. House establish power, and most of us don't know how that works, and it would do us well to learn, to study. You can go online and find them. They establish power so that the Speaker of the U.S. House is arguably the most powerful person in the world. That has to change because the Speaker of the House then sets the agenda. The Speaker of the House appoints the committee chairs. The Speaker of the House appoints members to those committees. And the chairman of those committees has absolute life and death power over every bill any representative ever introduces. If we don't take that on, if we don't decide to fix that by going and sending somebody to Washington that knows the leadership structure and the leadership workings of government, nobody's going to really be able to make a difference. To do that, I'm willing to serve. I'll take a pay cut if I'm sent to Washington. I'm very happy to do that. I will not make a career. I'm 58. I'd like to tell you that if we don't get it right this fall, more than ever in my lifetime, then my 9.5-month-old grandson, your kids and grandkids, and millions around the world will never know what it was that we allowed to be stolen from them. It's up to us, and we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Charlie, you have 2 minutes.
Bob, you're absolutely right. We need change in Washington now. Not 2 years from now, not 7 years from now, or 6 years from now, but now. I've had the opportunity to think about what I would do if I had the opportunity to really make a difference in Washington. To understand the institution, to figure out how to make it work better, make Washington work for us, not against us. And over the last few months, I've come out with various proposals to do just that. To establish a spending reduction committee, which would bring spending reduction ideas directly to the floor of the House so that the American people could get reconnected with Congress and we could really start reducing federal spending. To deal with the two biggest entitlement programs that this country has, Social Security and Medicare, to get the American people behind a plan to preserve and protect both of them through some sort of a congressionally mandated commission that would be established to travel about the country, to bring through an election cycle a series of proposals that the Congress would then have to vote on. Indeed, I understand the institution of Congress, and I know how to make it work better. Because we're at a crossroads in America now. This is no time for debate. This is time for action. I've been in Congress. It's been said 25 times in the last hour and a half. I'm not going there because I want to be a congressman. I want to go there because I know I can make a difference, because I have the experience, and I have the ability to win this seat back for the Republicans in November, because I don't want to be a resident of this state and have to live under an Annie McLean Custer or a Katrina Lantos Sweat moon. So thank you very much for your time and your attention and your interest and your passion. I thank my colleagues who are also on the ballot, and I thank the system for giving me the opportunity to participate in it once again. God bless you and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Charlie. Wes, you have the last closing statement for 2 minutes.
Thank you. I believe in God. I believe in family. I know what it's like to lose a job and have to decide whether I'm paying child support or the mortgage. I know that a $2,000 a month COBRA payment is no replacement for a health care benefits package. And I know how to listen. My telephone is always on, and I personally answer it. I respond to every email that I get, and I'll continue to do so as long as that's humanly possible. I believe our government's broken, and I believe that the answer to fixing it is to replace career politicians with we the people. I'd like you to vote for me, and I'd like you to learn more about me by visiting my website, sonnerforcongress.org. I have no desire to go to Congress for you. My plan is to go to Congress with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. That's the last of the statements. I think we all should give them a round of applause.